The narrative around technology can be quite pessimistic at this moment. People are worried about their jobs, and the book kind of creates another narrative too, this idea that this doesn't have to be inevitable.
Right now, everybody thinks, well, robots are going to put everybody out of work. Well, there's already evidence that isn't true. Jeff Bezos added 45,000 robots to Amazon's warehouses and added 250,000 workers. Why? Because they said, we're not going to use those robots simply to do the same thing more cheaply. They said, we're going to do more. And since the very beginning of human civilization, when we did more, we made society more prosperous. And we put people to work in unexpected new ways. And it's our choice to do that again now. But we're making the choice instead to use this technology simply to improve corporate profits, to get rid of people, to treat them as a cost, to replace them with machines.
It certainly seems like we've reached kind of this pivotal point where we are questioning what's the end game here.
That's
and
right.
What is also lost. What is the human component that's lost?
I mean, the original business model of Google was beautiful. You find what you want, you get it, and you go away. But increasingly, they have also adopted this, no, we want to have you on a string, we want to have you on a leash. And we really have to actually confront that in our society.
So how do we confront that?
The biggest solution is for us to believe that it doesn't have to be that way. We're still operating as though we need to create all these incentives for production of more goods, when in fact people don't have enough money to spend. And we have to start investing in people again, not just because it's the right thing to do, because that's how an economy works.
How do you think we put this idea of humanity back into these algorithms?
We have to take personal responsibility for how we use these systems. You can decide not to click. And in fact, Facebook is an incredible training mechanism if you use it.
For self-control? I have no self-control on Facebook.
But literally, yeah, I would really urge everybody to experiment with Facebook. Don't click on any news stories at all. Just click on personal updates from your friends. And you know what will happen? Facebook will show you personal updates from your friends, and it won't show you news anymore. If you're seeing those stories that make you mad, it's because you're clicking on them.
I think about some of the engineers I've interviewed who say every product decision, every idea is literally coded so we will look at our phone. Do we have as much control? Are we able to do what you just said we could do?
Yes, absolutely. There are people who opt out. There's no requirement to use Facebook. But more importantly, I do think there is a real role for entrepreneurs to look in the mirror and to ask themselves, are we creating a monster?
Especially in Silicon Valley, the promise was to make a better world. And that is kind of at odds with the IPO and the exit and the venture capitalists and the shareholders and all that kind of stuff. So how do you tell the entrepreneurs who want to change the world, go do that and don't compromise?
Mr. Rogers once said, whenever something bad happens, look for the people who are helping. There are always people helping. It's just great advice for little kids, but Mr. Rogers was a genius, about human nature. And right now I look at and I try to tell some of the stories in my book. There are people who are helping. There are people who are working every day to make a better world, in that technology, orbit, but also all around the world. And there are people within the great companies who are thinking very hard about what they should be doing.